Our page is starting to come together, but the next thing that we need, which every page has, is some kind of way to navigate. Now, usually in a web page, you'll have multiple pages within that website, and a navigation bar would let you move in between them. But in our case, we're going to stick to one page for now. So we want to be able to have some links at the top that let us click and then move automatically down the page so that we align with these different divs. And that kind of link is called an anchor. It's like a local link to this page. So in order to get this done, I'm going to head over to Atom, and I'm going to add a header to each of these content boxes right up top. So let's say we go with like box 1, and then close out our header, and then I can take that and I can copy it. Now, what I might want to do is click 3 times so I have the entire line, and then when I copy that and paste it, it'll paste in with the correct formatting, or the correct tabbing, I should say. And you'll find as pages get bigger, you're going to do a lot of this copying and pasting, and it can get confusing if you're not paying attention. So this is going to be box 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, because I'm using the H1 tag, I'm automatically going to get some white space in between my title and my content. So let's save that, take a look at Firefox, and reload it. And so we automatically get that space around there. Now, I think that looks kind of ugly, but we'll talk more about customization with fonts and so forth as we go. So that's good enough for right now. Okay, so now that I've got those, I'll come back over to Atom. In addition to calling it just an H1, I'm also going to give it an ID, just like it was a div. And in this case, I'll just use box 1 with no spaces. And so we'll go down and do the same thing each time. And in fact, it might make sense to copy and paste these again and then just change it to 3 and 3 and so forth. And the reason that we're doing this is that we need an ID that is unique for every single place we're going to link to. So hopefully I've done this correctly. I have individual IDs, box 1 through 5, and they're pointing at header text of box 1 through 5. So I'll save that, and I'll reload my page just to make sure I don't see some syntax that I've misspelled or something and everything's still looking correct. Okay, now we'll head back to our HTML, and I'll open up a new line that's just inside the container that contains all of the content boxes, but before content box number 1 starts. And I'll add in this tag that's UL, which is called an unordered list. And an unordered list contains list elements, li elements. And so these will be 1, close my list element, through 5. I know this video is a lot of watching me cut and paste. We'll see if I can edit some of this out. When I mix this down, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And you never forget to close those elements. So unordered lists needs to close as well. Okay, now if I save that and open that back up in Firefox, you'll see that that's pretty ugly, right? So it's got these dots over here, this sort of default text. And so we're going to get in there and control this style a little bit. And of course, we do that back over in CSS. So first, I will identify the unordered list tag, and then I'm going to put the following features in here. So first we're going to add list-style-type is equivalent to none, right? Because we want to strip out some of that sort of ugly default visual framing, and then we'll do padding is equal to 0, just to zero that out. Head back to Firefox and reload it. Okay, we've gotten rid of our dots. We're also going to make this display style flex, just like our body, but this time we'll do justify content to the left. Okay, I'll save that, back to Firefox and reload it, and now I have everything laid out like a horizontal line. Okay, we're getting closer. Now if I wanted to, I could also drill down into the individual list elements and then tell those to be styled in a different way. much in the same way we had our content boxes defined differently than our container, right? So the container lets us make edits to the whole group at once, whereas the content box allows us to individually target those elements. But instead of drilling down into the lists, I'm going to head back over here into index, and I'm going to turn these all into links. So I'll do ahref equals quotes. But in this case, instead of going out to HTTP, Google, or something like that, I'll put in a hash mark, and then I'll write in box number 1, or rather just box 1, end quotes, and then reclose the list element, or rather the A tag, like that. So now we have a list element opens up, the link is linked down to the ID box number 1, the content displays the word 1, and then we close out that that A tag. So again, I might just sort of paste these over and then rewrite them. Lots of copying and pasting in web design. Kind of like cheating based on your own work. Okay, so now what I should have is some functional links that I could click. Let's take a look back over here. So I reload, and there's an underline throughout, but these all should be separate links. So if I click on number 3, indeed it just automatically scrolls me down the page to box number 3. If I click on number 5, it doesn't get me all the way down to the bottom, but that's because the page has nowhere to go after box number 5. Box number 1 will just squeak me just a little bit down the page. Great, so now that that's set up, our last task is going to be to style these links using pseudo classes.